the Basquatch Hunter, as seen on the Pursuit Channel.
Hey guys, this is Mike McKinstry, the host of the Basquatch Hunter, and I'm getting ready to film an episode with a professional bowler. But before I do that, I think I need to step up my gear a little bit and get some professional gear. My bowling ball's from 21 years ago, my shoes are from like 12 years ago, and my skills are non-existent yet. So I'm gonna go into a new pro shop. We're going to BowlerX over here in Waterford, Michigan, and I'm gonna get set up with professional gear and all new stuff so I can try to compete with a professional bowler. So before we pick out a ball, I'm out here with JR right now, and what he's going to do is he's going to have me throw my ball, my 21-year-old old technology ball, so he can figure out exactly what's going to fit me best. Can you explain to them what you got to check and how this all works?
Yeah. So we've got what we call an armadillo. Probably because it looks like
I was going to say because of the shell.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. But this basically tells me I have to line this up based on the oil rings that are on your ball.
Okay.
And this is going to tell me what your fingerprint is. So basically your fingerprint is how you throw the ball.
Okay.
So it's going to show me your axis point. Your positive axis point tells me how I can lay out a ball to make it do whatever I want it to do. So if I want it to hook less, or if we want it to hook more,
okay,
we can make it do whatever we want. So once we know this location, then we can kind of get into some details onto what ball, all that type of stuff.
Okay. So when I throw my ball down the lane, it puts that oil ring on it from the way it rolls, and that's like my unique fingerprint of how I bowl.
Yep.
So everyone's different?
Everybody's different. Everybody's different because everybody's got a different axis point. You could have somebody that's got a close axis point as you, but their axis tilt is a little different, and that, we kind of go over a little bit. It's the direction of your tilt and everything.
Yeah.
So you're going to roll it different than everybody else. So based on how you roll it, I can make the ball do whatever you want it to do.
Well, let's roll.
Let's do it.
All right.
You're going to throw a few shots and just get loose first.
My first shot is my best shot, just so you know.
Doubtful.
Anything I do for some reason before I practice, I do better. When I warm up, I do terrible.
Yeah. That one might actually work. Let's see what we got.
2 strikes in a row.
There you go. Just can't stop this guy.
You know what? I don't know what it is.
Why are you getting a new ball? Yeah, that's so weird. I've honestly never seen this before. This is unique.
Never met anyone like this guy.
That throws it this bad.
Throws it this bad. Somehow it knocked pins down. So what does it mean?
I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. I'm
throw it again?
Yeah, best guess here because I can't really see what's going on. Holy cow. You have the most unique roll I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen somebody throw it like that. That's not a good thing.
Oh.
I mean, you track here across your fingers. So you do, I don't know what you do, but you do something along this line to get it to track right across.
I go like this and I snap it at the end.
Yeah.
It is weird.
That's the most unique thing I've ever seen. Because you do the same thing with this one. So if you throw this one, now throw this one again.
Is that where that tape line is?
Yep, that tape is technically your positive axis. So when you throw it, it's going to be facing, we'll be able to see that white dot in the front of the lane basically stay still.
So that's just so you can see it. That's what, okay, I thought you were marking something. That's so you can have like a tracking.
Yeah, that's so I can see the positive axis on it. You literally do this with your hand, which is not, I mean, it is what it is.
I feel like I'm just going like that. I guess I'm not.
It's okay.
I mean, that white tape looks like it's fake up the whole time now.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing some cool stuff. This is going to be neat. It's going to be fun. Let's go measure it out.
All right. Okay, so after checking the ball and checking the axis, how I throw it, I guess I have the most unique throw that he's ever seen in the history of bowling. which he said wasn't a good thing, but I took it as a really cool compliment. So I'm going to brag about that now, and that's the title I'm going to carry. So when you meet me at the bowling alley and I tell you, hey, I had a professional bowler tell me I had the most unique throw he's ever seen, I'm going to say it as a compliment. So now we're over here checking this out, and we have my 21-year-old ball here, then my other older ball here. How old is this one, you think?
This one is from 2009-ish.
Okay, so this one's from 2001, and I only know that because it says it somewhere on here, right there. And this one's from 2009. So now he's gonna take a look at the oil patterns on this and check out the axis, so we can figure out how I need to adjust, or what kind of ball will work for me best. So all right, so what do we got to do here?
All right, so now I got to measure this thing out. My issue is most people with their axis, it's going to be somewhere over here, right?
Yes, like a normal bowler.
Like a normal bowler
Yes.
would be somewhere over here. Yours is way down here by your thumb because of the way you spin it off your hand. So the way we measure
unique,
this,
really interesting, cool way that I spin it off my hand.
and the amazingly unusual, oh man, obscene way you throw it off your hand. So I got to measure from here, because you don't use your thumb. I measure straight across from the fingers down across over here, and I'm going to draw a straight line from here straight through here, so I know where to go. So that's going to tell me the distance from here to here. Now the weird thing is most people, let's say this is their positive axis, so you would be, you know, this distance from the center over, so about 6 inches by, you know, maybe 1 3/4 inches down would be that. So that would be pretty standard. You're actually really weird.
I get that a
You're
lot.
2 inches over, and well, I'm gonna have to measure twice. 6.5 plus 1, so you're 7.5 inches down. So 2 inches over by 7.5 inches. I've honestly never seen this before. I've never, ever seen something like this before.
My mom always said I was special and unique, and I think this is what she meant the whole time. This is what happens when a fisherman goes bowling right here.
I mean, honestly, watching you throw the ball, it doesn't look like it should track that way, but it does.
So when I teach this man how to catch fish in a kayak soon here, I'm going to make sure that I point out he's going to hold it differently than anybody else has ever held it, and he's going to be unique and special and catch fish, because bowlers catch fish differently than fishermen, and fishermen bowl different than bowlers. That's what I'm learning from this.
Yep.
So now with this information you have on here, what can you tell from this? Not only how I throw differently, obviously, but how does this tell you that, you know, things need to be adjusted or changed, or what technology would work, or like, what do you learn from this?
Well, so for me, it's going to tell me you're a super spinner. So you get your hand way around the ball. Okay, so we're going to have to try and come up with some cover stocks, figure out cover stocks that are going to work best for somebody that actually twirls it, you know, spins it a little bit.
I twirl it, that's nice.
Yeah, twirl. We'll call it twirl.
Yeah.
Figure skater.
It's a nice, delicate way to say it.
We're going to call you our figure skater bowler because
Yes.
you twirl it. So we're going to have to look on the wall and figure out what would be best for you. Probably more of like a hybrid or a solid cover bowling ball. We don't want to go with anything pearl. Since you already spin it, you're creating enough float or enough glide through the oil. We got to get something that's going to read the oil a little bit sooner so we can get a little better stable type reaction. We don't want anything to be too overreactive off of any dry parts of the lane, and we don't want anything to be too underreactive. So we want it to be, and I think that's why you've had some success with that old 2001 ball, because it just blends the lane for you. It doesn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
It hooks enough, and it's nice. But I think you could get into newer technology that has stronger cover and a little bit better core, and we can get it to do a lot of things that you've never seen before. So maybe your scores will go up.
See, this is why you have a professional do this kind of work, because I never would have known any of this stuff. I would have kept on throwing my 21-year-old ball, 21-year-old technology, and not even know what I was doing to make it better. So this is cool. So, all right, let's start looking at some balls here. I have no idea what I'm looking at here. All I know is that there's a lot of colors. Some look shiny and some don't.
Yeah, so a lot of
And one of them has a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
On it.
yeah. I'll use that one later. The big thing to notice about these is they come in different types of cover stocks. So down here, if you look at like the T-zones, those are mostly plastic, made out of a plastic. They're going to skid. They're not going to hook much. They're going to do the opposite of what you want. And then you can upgrade just a little bit more and go to like a urethane ball. These are made of the base urethane. It's just strictly urethane. Those are going to hook early and be super duper smooth, which is essentially what your 2001 is over there. Then you can upgrade and go to something like the Beast, the Electrify, the Twist. These are called a reactive resin. Most of these are considered a pearl. That's why they're shiny.
Hey, look, that one says Twist on it.
twist.
It's almost like it was meant for twisting.
Meant for you, but that wouldn't
twirl.
be good for
You
you.
need to say twirl.
Yeah, you would have to be twirly.
Yeah.
Figurine ballerina. There we go. So when you look at most of these bowling balls, they've got different sheens to them. So you can see a couple of dull ones. You can see a shiny one, a couple of shiny ones, more dull. The difference is they're made out of either a pearl or a solid cover stock. The solids are going to hook earlier. They're going to be more reactive all around. The pearls are going to be a little bit cleaner in the front. They're going to float on the oil, kind of like yours does. They're going to skid a little bit more, and then they'll react more down lane, depending on how we lay it out. We can make any of them do anything, but for somebody like you that twirls it quite a bit, we're going to want something that's going to read a little sooner and be a little bit more strong through the middle and the back part of the lane.
So something that's more of a flat stock is what you're saying.
Yeah, so you're going to want to look at something like a Zen Master, a Nova, Quantum EVO, maybe even a Speed over there. The bigger, stronger bowling balls that are, meant to see the lane quicker. Now, they're probably going to be a little overwhelming at first because you're so used to the older technology. When you throw these, it's going to hook off the lane and you're going to have to adjust some things.
It's going to be a boomerang.
Well, we'll teach you. We'll get out here, we'll show you some different things and whatnot, but
so do I go off looks like everyone thinks, or?
I think what you do is you narrow it down to 3 or 4 that would work well for your game, like the ones that I just showed you, and then you can pick one based on the looks that you like. Because I can make them do pretty much what we need them to do, but it's up to you.
So you said something that's a flat color.
Yeah.
Not the shiny, glossy, pretty ones.
Nope, stay away from the shiny, glossy, pretty ones.
I think I understand that too, because the same way it works in a lot of industries where if it's smooth, it's more abrasive, so it's more friction.
Right.
And if it's slippery and shiny looking, there's a lot less friction and it'll slide more.
Right.
So if I'm throwing a straight ball, then the shinier one's probably better for me because it won't grab or do much movement. But since I do throw a spinning ball and it's a super awkward spin, then the flat ones will have that friction and react.
Yeah, I mean, we're essentially bowling on ice, so you're not going to take racing tires out on snow, right?
It's a really good analogy.
Probably not going to happen.
It's a really good analogy.
So we want some grip. We want to create a big footprint. We want that ball to sit flat on the lane as much as we possibly can, and the only way to do that is to create friction. So the more friction we create, the more power we can put into the pins, means we can knock down more pins.
Okay. And these are all 15 pounds, which is what I throw now. Okay.
Yep. So you'll be good there. So
well, I really do like this one. I think this one is... I just like the way it looks like a galaxy. Like it has that like space look to it.
Yeah.
And it's also bright enough where you can see this when I get lucky and hit strikes.
Right. I mean, that is the best ball on the market right now.
So this is made by Storm right here?
Yep. Storm Bowling.
And you can buy all these too on BowlerX.com, right?
Yep.
Like every one of these is available on BowlerX.com.
Yep.
So all these brands are right on there.
Yep. Everything will be good there. Yep. BowlerX.com, or come in here to the Pro Shop in Waterford and you're good to go if you're in the area.
Yes. If you're in Waterford or you want to come to Waterford, you can get help from this guy right here, which I highly recommend. If not, go on BowlerX.com and you can do some shopping around, and hopefully you can learn a little bit in this video, or come in here and talk to him before you order. You'll be able to know what you actually should order. That way it's a lot easier.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
Is that so much heavier?
You're a little guy.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I got to learn a lot about the balls here, which is cool. So I picked one based off looks, but we narrowed it down based off technology and science and knowledge, which those 3 things I didn't know about before I came in today. I highly suggest go on BowlerX.com, guys, and just look at all the cool technology that's out there. Even if you just bowl with your friends for fun on the weekends here and there, having a better tool for the job will make you more efficient, and you'll have a lot more fun doing it. It's going to make you want to do it more if you can do it better, right? So definitely check out BowlerX.com, or come out here to Waterford. Even if you're with like an hour away, it's worth it. Come out here, learn some stuff, and go bowling. All right, so now he's doing these magic lines again to show how bad of a bowler I am.
Yeah, so this is all based off an angle, because these, so this is called the pin. This tells me where the top of the core is. This
so that's
is
the center pin, you said, right?
Yeah, that's the pin, so it's the top of the core. So it tells me exactly where the top of the core is going to be sitting. And then we have the CG, which is just the center of gravity, pretty self-explanatory. And this is called the PSA, the positive spin axis, or the preferred spin axis, or mass bias, whichever somebody wants to call it. And this is basically the heaviest part of the core.
Okay.
So now we're going to determine the angles that we want this sitting based on what your positive axis is, and we can make it do whatever we want to do. So the first angle that we do here, we draw a line straight from the pin to the mass bias or the PSA, and we set what this is called a prosec or a quarter scale, whichever way you want to go about it. And then we try to determine from 0 to about 85 degrees which way we want to go. The closer to 10 degrees we go, the earlier that core is going to try to rev up. the closer to 80 or 85, the later the core is going to try to take over. We're going to try to go somewhere in between and go about 35. You spin it a little bit, so we want it to get started a little quicker. So we went 35 degrees, and then the distance, for people who get their hand around the ball or spin it quite a bit, we want to make sure we use a longer pin to get it to flare a little less and get it to stay on its axis just a little bit longer to give you that more stable type reaction. We don't want it to be crazy overreactive. So I'm gonna go with a 5-inch pin for somebody who gets their hand around it quite a bit. So I'll make a mark at 5. And the max flare would be 3 3/4 inches. You know, so the further away we go, the least, or the further down lane, essentially, we can get it to go.
So based off all these measurements, you can control. It's kind of like you're making a specific golf club for me. Like I just do the same swing every time with every golf club, but you're making this specific club. So you can adjust everything on this based on where my hook actually grabs, where it reacts, where it doesn't.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I
didn't know there was that much science to it.
And then what we can do is, if you're not seeing what we want to see out of it, we can change the outside of the ball. We can change the cover stock and make it even duller, or shine it up based on what we're looking at, and we can make it do things different as well. So now this third angle, the last angle, is going to tell me how much it's going to react off of the pattern. So I want to go between 10 and 80 degrees. The closer to 10 degrees means the pin's going to be higher. The closer to 80 degrees means the pin's going to be lower. So the pin, meaning the top of the core, is going to be lower. And we want it to be a little bit more smooth. We don't want it to be crazy down lane. Again, I'm going to pick a middle number, and I'm going to go like 45. So from that mark I just made, we draw a straight line down through the other angle. And this technically is your positive axis point. Okay. So now here's our issue. Because you're so unique, you are 7.5 inches down, so I've got to measure 7.5 inches up to get to where I need to be. So from the 1.5 all the way to the end.
So is this going to be the most awkward finger placement you probably ever put on a ball?
This is going to be very strange. So now you are here, technically. So I'm going to draw another line up through there so we have more room to work with. But yes, this is going to be very strange for you. So now you're 2 inches over from here. So right here is where the center of your fingers are. So I would draw a line right here. Actually, we're going to be a 1/4. 3/8 of an inch down.
Leave it to me to be the weird one, you know?
Very, very strange. That's okay.
But somehow I've learned to be consistent with it. That's the weird part. Like, it's worked, which is weird. Like, it shouldn't, though, right?
Yep. So you're going to be here, like this. Now think of this.
I'm going to be on logo.
Yeah, so you're going to be, your fingers are going to be here with the pin here. Okay. And the CG and the mass bias is going to be down here, which is going to be really, really strange because your positive axis is actually right here. So we want this to be different. So look at the difference here. So when you look at this ball, that's way over here. Now we're actually moving this pin over here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because we're trying to get that distance and the angles from here to here.
So this will completely change my throw at first, but once
I'm hoping it actually takes the flare off of your fingers so you don't hear it go thump, 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 thump down lane.
Oh, okay.
So that would be good.
So it'll actually make my technique that I already have, if you can call it technique, you can make my throw I already have more effective.
Yeah.
So,
it should be actually easier to get this ball to do what you want it to do.
So this is just a good example of using the right tool for the job and being more efficient with it. So instead of using a sledgehammer to hang a picture, we're using the correct tool for the correct job now. Should be pretty cool. This is going to be the most different experience. It sounds weird because everyone thinks bowling is just like a pastime hobby, but when you actually look at the science of it and the technique of it, it's incredible. It's so cool to learn all this, and I hope this helps you guys out too. This is such a cool thing that I get to learn because now I look at bowling completely different. Like now when I see bowling even on TV, I stop a little bit longer and watch it and go, hey, that guy just did this, and I notice how the ball spins, and now there's some math to it. Now I got to learn some actual math here to figure this all out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what's the next step? Is drilling the next step?
Now I'm actually just going to check your fingers. I want to check the flexibility of your fingers and see where we can go because we're going to change things a little bit from here.
And then you got to put holes in a brand new, perfect looking ball.
Yep. We're going to make it ugly.
So anytime I drill something into a kayak in my world, I always have that weird little like crazy part where I'm like, I'm drilling a hole in a boat or something that's really pretty looking. Do you have that same problem with balls? Like,
not anymore. Maybe I did it in the beginning, but not anymore.
Where you're like, oh, I'm putting a hole in this, like it's permanent. Well, I mean, it's not permanent.
I mean,
You can always fill it, but it's not
well,
the same.
I'm having a little bit of anxiety with this one because I've never laid a ball out like this before. I've never seen somebody throw it the way you do. So this is, because if this doesn't come out right, we're going to have to try again. And then we're going to have to, you know, go with a little trial and error. But based on the way you throw it and the numbers that we've got, it should be right. So I'm actually excited to see what this does, but I'm nervous at the same time. So we'll see. We'll see what we got. So what's cool about these presses is like this is called a vacuum jig, and this has a vacuum underneath. So when I turn on a pump, it's got a suction underneath. I flip this up and it just sucks the ball down, and then I can drill it. When it doesn't work out, sometimes these labels get caught underneath, and it doesn't have enough suction, doesn't have enough pressure, and so then I have to put a plate on it to hold it in. So we've went all out and got a couple of different presses. We bought 2 of them, so that way we had, because we're busy enough to where we have 2 of us here, we're drilling a lot. We get a lot of people coming in here and changing things and drilling balls. So we needed to at least have 2 presses. So it's gonna get a little noisy. We're gonna put some holes in this and see what we can come up with.
All right.
Move it around the other side. We can position this in different ways to make the holes go in at different angles. Because the holes going in at different angles is important. So like yours, I'm pitching these fingers that way to get it to feel flatter on your hand so it feels softer, and then maybe you won't come around it so much. It's possible. So that's another thing we can do in the pro shop is we can make the feel of the ball a little bit different so that way it changes how you roll it just a little bit and can optimize your, you know, your throw, the way you roll it. You get the best reaction we're looking for.
Awesome.
So we just hit it with the sander just to make sure we round out these edges, because if we don't round out those edges, eventually you can get cracks around the sides. Just makes it to where the ball's a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more durable, because it's a 15-pound object going down and hitting a bunch of, you know, 3.5-pound pins. So
hopefully
she gets beat up. Well, yeah, as long as you don't throw it in the gutter. So you are a 21 and 5 with your itty bitty fingers. These fit exactly in the holes just like so. One again.
This is such a cool process. I had no idea this much went into a bowling ball, and I cannot wait to see the result of this and see if my crazy, weird, unique throw can adapt to this technology in this ball, or if this ball can adapt to my crazy, unique throw. I guess is a better way to put it.
That's the question.
I'd move over here.
All right, this is so awesome. I was so excited to throw this for the first time and see how this reacts or how I react. I don't know what's going to happen. This could come right back at us, but we're going to throw this down the lane and see what happens. I'm so excited to try a new bowling ball with new technology. You're going to strike on the first throw, though.
I don't like your chances.
Okay.
If this hits the 7-pin in the face, I'm excited.
If I hit more than 5 pins, I'm going to prove him wrong. That's it. Fair? 5 pins?
I'm hoping it just stays on line.
All right.
And it doesn't overhook in the gutter.
That was awesome. So,
was actually pretty
as a fisherman, I'm really good at adapting. I'm just joking. I have no idea what happened there, but it felt cool. So I didn't spin it as hard as I normally do, though. I'm not going to lie. I had toned it down because I was nervous. Now I'm going to throw it for real, though. I really want to see what happens.
Yeah, so you're still tracking the same spot.
I threw it so much softer.
You're right, yeah. So that's actually kind of
I'm going to go for real. I was impressed. I said, oh, like, oh, but like, oh, it's going that lane.
Yeah.
Like, all right. It feels so much more comfortable.
You're welcome.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you see that?
Oh, there it is.
That's what I'm talking about with the new technology.
Yeah.
You got a lot more strength. So now,
No, I don't need to hook it as hard at all now.
no, you can actually take a little hand out of it if you want, or you can just move your feet to the left and throw it further right. You watch the ball hook the entire lane. That's the cool thing. Oh yeah. Don't be afraid of it.
Are you
It's gonna
telling me to
hurt.
throw it at the gutter?
Yes, I'm telling you to throw it towards the gutter.
The gutter.
The gutter, you know the gutter.
You know, I'm lined up with this gutter.
Yep, and throw it towards the other gutter. How sick is that?
Jeez, dude.
That's what we're after. That's what we like.
That is. Now we want to see if it does.
The backup ball for the spare.
Yep. Can we just say though, for a moment here, you nailed the most unique drilling you've ever done on a ball.
But that right there shows why it's important to know those numbers. Because there's way too many pro shops in the world who won't go looking for those numbers. And that's why they would have drilled with the pin up here next to your fingers.
Yeah.
And who knows what the ball would have done.
So now the ball is more controllable, so now I can actually learn how to bowl better.
Now you can do what you're supposed to do.
I mean, like this?
Yes.
See, that's what it took for it to stand on the right side.
That's what we're after right there.
Oh my gosh. But it hits so much harder. Like, it's such a huge difference of having something done right, you know?
Well, there's a big difference between the material in these bowling balls compared to those old bowling balls we had. They're made out of different materials.
So it reacts completely different.
Left. Keep going left and throw it at the gutter. Throw it at the gutter.
I think I've learned this ball, I think, a little bit.
There we go.
It's better.
Now we got her. Go! I love it.
All right, so this is definitely different, and I can definitely see why this is better, because now the ball is doing what it's supposed to be doing on its own. Now I just got to learn what to do on my own, which is cool, because if you guys are in this area, come here to the BowlerX Pro Shop here at Waterford Lanes, because not only can you get a new ball and learn all the cool stuff, but you can also learn how to bowl better from a pro bowler, someone who does this every day. Like literally every day. Like I think you live here. Do you live here?
Pretty much.
Pretty much lives here. So check it out, guys. BowlerX.com. Right at the bottom of the screen right here. And come to Waterford Lanes here in Waterford, Michigan. Come to the BowlerX Pro Shop. Talk to JR and get a ball. Hopefully not as weird as this one, but as good as this one. Thank you guys. See you guys soon.
Watch the full episodes on the Pursuit channel and online. The Basquatch Hunter. Subscribe on YouTube.